Okay, so today I am watching a Batman show that I apparently have never heard of. So I'm watching Beware the Batman, and I've already watched the first episode. I mean, it's doing most of the job that Batman needs to. The only real complaint I have is I'm not sure how I feel about Alfred right now, and they're introducing a new character to Batman's sort of like home life that I don't recognize. So that's interesting. I think this is the like no, this is the first episode of this show that I'm doing where the show that I'm watching isn't a show that got a bunch of critical acclaim. In fact, I've never even heard of this show until I saw it scrolling through a list of cartoons. So I guess I'm gonna watch this. Doesn't seem like there's too much of it. I think there's like 20 something episodes. I need to double check in a minute, but doesn't seem like it's going to be too long. So this should be an episode right about on par with the Toradora episode. I don't know what really to expect. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's very Batman like, also I realize I'm wearing a Flash shirt to watch a Batman show, but whatever. Um, I mean, I'm a big DC fan. I love DC comics. I love Marvel comics too, but like I enjoy the pure optimism in DC. Uh, yeah. So I mean, so let's get into this, I guess. Okay, so the new girl is not just some random character they invented. Apparently, it's Katana. Not having known Katana's real name, I didn't recognize her at first. But now that I know she's an actual legit character, I'm a lot more legit character from the comics. I'm a lot more interested in who she is and what role she's going to play in this show. I also like that we've seen a lot of references to other superheroes. Like, we've already seen a reference to Queen and Oliver Queen, which means Green Arrow exists in this universe. And I just find that really, really interesting. Whether or not we'll ever actually get to meet Green Arrow, probably not, considering this only had one season, 26 episodes, but like when you're dealing with comic books in general, when you like TV shows, making them feel like part of the bigger universe that they are inevitably connected to is always a really good thing because one, it opens you up for spin-offs and things like that, but two, it just makes the world feel bigger because you don't have to write your own world building. It's kind of been done for you. The only real problem I've having so far is that the characters, specifically Bruce, don't seem to have many range of emotions when they're animated. I get that it's all CGI animation, but it's CGI animation that's roughly on par with the Ninja Turtle show that was out a little while ago. And while I haven't seen that, maybe that'll be my next watch. It's their version from what I have seen is so much more expressive because they cut in random 2D animation for like expressions and stuff like that. And yeah, it kind of seems a little jarringly out of place, but it also kind of works well with that particular show. I don't think that specific method would work well with this show, with Batman, but just a little more range of motion in their face or something, I think would be really helpful here. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to watching the show. Okay, so they're getting rid of Alfred halfway through the season. Unless it was 2 seasons and they were like 12 episode seasons, which is possible. That's actually possible. It's probable, actually, because that felt like a season finale. But, okay. And I realize what my problem with Alfred is. He's a little too Jason Statham. Jason Statham. Jason. Why do I feel like I cannot pronounce his name right? Anyway, my point is, he's a little too much like the guy from the Transporter movies. There are like 5 people who understood that reference. Anyway, yeah, that's my biggest problem with him. I like that's not really a problem. I think I would watch a Batman movie where Jason Statham played Alfred. I don't really think it fits, but I'd watch it. It'd be a thing. That's for damn sure. But yeah, so they just put him on a bus for a little while. He just squared off against Ra's al Ghul of all people, and apparently had to face off against a gauntlet of his rogues gallery from the season thus far. So interesting choices. Very interesting choices here. I dig it though. I mean, it's not terrible. It's far from the worst Batman I've ever seen. Clooney. But it's also not nearly as good as some of the other iterations of Batman animated. Obviously, Batman the Animated Series is still kind of the pinnacle as far as Batman animated shows go. And that whole connected universe kind of was just honestly really cool. Also, can we just appreciate the fact that Cartoon Network was doing connected cinematic universes or televised universes before Marvel even did their movies? Can we just appreciate that? And they did it well, mind you, because they had crossover events, they had all kinds of really cool stuff coming out of those movies or those shows. Because Static Shock was part of that universe, guys. Did you, like, in case you didn't know, Static Shock crossed over with the Justice League, which was part of the Batman the Animated Series universe, which was part of the Superman Animated Series universe, which was part of Batman Beyond's continuity. Like, there was a lot of stuff that crossed over with those shows. And like there was at least 4 or 5 different shows that crossed over with it. Not to mention, Batman Beyond crossed over with a different show. I think it was something about a robot and a teenage girl or something like that. But yeah. And they were doing that long before the Arrow or the Flash or any of that stuff was out. These new CW shows. And they did it well. But nobody took it seriously because it was a cartoon. Yep. Anyway, let's keep watching. Alright, so that was the end of Beware the Batman. I honestly don't know what else to say other than that it was a season finale. It looked like they were hinting at the outsiders there at the end, but as far as I know, the series never got another season. Although I don't know when it was published. So maybe it's just like in production limbo or something. Honestly, it's not a bad show. I'd like to see more seasons. I thought it was actually pretty good. I don't know, I guess I'm gonna save my thoughts for the wrap-up, though, in all honesty. I don't have any real reactions to that particular episode or that particular series. It was kind of very meh all together. I mean, that was the first like not critically acclaimed show that I'd watched on this series, so Oh, and I guess let's do the wrap up. So, Beware the Batman. It's a weird thing, right? Like, it only got, like, two half seasons. I think it was like 26 episodes total. And it just ends. I think there's a comic series that's supposed to continue it, but there's a comic series that continued Smallville. It's called Season 11. It wasn't bad. Like, that's the thing about it, is it was not bad in any way, shape, or form. It was actually really, really good. I mean, I didn't care for their depiction of Alfred. For some reason, they went with this sort of like Jason Statham-esque Alfred that I could not comprehend to save my life. It just didn't feel like the Alfred that I knew and loved, but that's a very personal thing, and like this might be your preferred version of Alfred. Personally, I like the old man Alfred that you don't know will whoop your ass. That's far more entertaining. Alfred was never meant to serve a combat role. I think that's probably my biggest problem with it, is Alfred is not meant to serve the combat role on the team. He can handle himself. That's part of why Bruce trusts him. But anyway, this isn't about getting into an existential discussion about whether or not Alfred's characterization was on point. But like, that would probably be my biggest complaint with it, is the way they depicted Alfred. The rest of it was really good, actually. I liked their version of Katana. Not sure how I felt about their version of the Soul Taker sword. But their version of Katana was passable. I mean, I enjoyed it, and that's pretty much the only real requirement for a TV show. I don't know, like, they did a really good job of emphasizing pretty much all of Batman's major skill sets. At least the ones that most people recognize, right? And a couple of the ones that people don't. Like, a lot of people overlook the fact that he is, in fact, the world's greatest detective. So they had whole episodes dedicated to Batman's detective work, which was a really good idea. That's what you want to see in a Batman show. Which makes it all the more inexplicable that this show seemed to have failed for some reason. Honestly, I'm going to put it down to the animation quality, the type of animation. A lot of people don't like fully CGI shows like that. They're very hit or miss. So that probably had something to do with it. It wasn't very stylized, is another problem, I think, with the animation. If you go with other shows in the same sort of animation style that did succeed, like I compared it to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon version, it was very similar, but the Ninja Turtles blended 2D animation with 3D animation. And not just 2D animation, but a very stylized, sort of almost manga type 2D animation. Not anime, but manga. Like, it was very clearly made to represent comic book formats, manga-esque formats, especially when you get into things like flashbacks. But that I will save for my Ninja Turtles video, not this one. The point I'm trying to make is that Ninja Turtles had something very stylized about it, something that drew you in, whereas Batman just feels bland. And I think that's probably the biggest problem with this version of Batman, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons it didn't take off the way I really think it should have, because it was a decent show. It was a really good version of Batman, actually. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be much when I picked it up and I turned it on, and I'm just like, this is a thing that's happening, but it was
really, really, really good. And I want to see more. I will say that there was a bit of a cop-out at the end when they were dealing with Slade, and just they happened to be able to just wipe his memories, and now he's not a threat to the Batcave or the Bat family anymore. I really do think that was more of a problem with, rushed production. They realized that they weren't going to get picked up for another season. So a lot of that was rushing to complete storylines, but also trying to get a little bit of a hook in there to see if maybe people will demand another season of the series. But it doesn't seem that they did, unless it's like stuck in production hell or something like that. And it might be. Maybe this is a show that only just came out like last year, and for some reason I'm just really late to the party. Actually, either way, I'm really late to the party. But still, Beware the Batman was good. The animation was, for the most part, pretty on point. I do think that Bruce could have been more expressive. Even in the moments where you get the sense that he's supposed to be kind of like casual, almost devil may care, he's still just very stoic. And I get that it's Batman, but Bruce Wayne is not Batman. Bruce Wayne is not the stoic character. He's the handsome, pretty boy, playboy. And, like, that's probably one of, like, that and the Alfred thing are my two biggest problems with the series. And that's it. In all honesty, it was actually really good. I liked that they had little hints towards the rest of the DC universe thrown in there. They had a Queen art gallery as a major fixture of Gotham City that you got to see multiple times. It was the focus of one episode, kind of. But, well, they focused on it for a minute in one episode. But you also got to see it again throughout the series as just backgrounds. And it wasn't just, generic cityscape after generic cityscape. Which makes Gotham feel like a real place. And that is really, really good. It's... honestly, at this point, I'm kind of just saying the same things over and over again because I want to keep talking about it because it was really good. I really enjoyed Beware the Batman, and I'm sad that it didn't get picked up for another season. Unless it has, and I don't know about it. So leave in the comments below what your favorite part of Beware the Batman is, whether or not it actually did get a second season, because apparently I don't know. And just, who's your favorite DC superhero while you're at it? Why not? I'm still bad at outros. Like, share, subscribe, notification bell. That all helps. I'm hoping this video was a lot shorter than every other video. I'm trying to keep this wrap up under 10 minutes. So... bye.